Believe it or not, getting hearted is the hardest part. Getting started is the hardest part when any venture in life, right? Especially in business. So it's like you're going to have a million different ideas. I know I did. Well, we'll try this and we'll try that. And what about this? And what if it works? And the thing is what I've found over the years, when you just start throwing crap at the wall, sure, something might stick, but that's not really a good plan. Now, I'm not saying you have to have everything planned perfectly, but what I am saying is the place to start is with what you're good at, what you're experienced with. And if you're not experienced, you need to go out and get that experience. Because in my opinion, starting something from scratch, number one, it's a lot bigger commitment. Something I learned early on, right? I started a motorcycle shop and a restaurant in 2010 with a buddy of mine. And we thought, well, we got this extra space up here in this building that we bought. How hard could a little sandwich shop be? 2 years and failure, left later, working 5 times in 24 hours while I had another contracting business and a motorcycle shop and all the stress and a new baby. Yeah, so definitely don't get into a business you know nothing about. I knew nothing about sandwiches. My wife once worked at Blimpie. I worked at a Sonic drive-thru, so we're like, yeah, how hard could it be? We'll just sling some sandwiches. We had some good sandwiches. The thing is like, I had no idea how the cost overruns would be and how small the margins were and just how much of a stressful pain in the butt. And my hat's off to anybody that has a restaurant, because that is, in my opinion, with, okay, albeit limited experience, that is the hardest business I've ever run. Passionate about it. It was great. I had a lot of friends, a lot of help. It was cool, but it was a total complete failure. And it was just things that, looking back on now, I would never do what I, even if I was going to run this thing again, it wouldn't be in that location. There's a lot of things I would have fixed, right? So that's the main thing, is when you're picking something and getting started out is the hardest part, in my opinion, just starting. You do just have to do it, but really examine first. I don't want to say overanalyze, because you can get into analysis paralysis, but really, you want to You want to analyze, hey, what skill sets do I have and where do they conform? Do I actually know anything about the business that I'm getting into? It's important. And if you don't have those skills, that's okay. You can earn those skills, and it does take time, especially if you're younger. And, you might see some of your friends, well, they're so successful, and you're like, I'm 20 years old, and oh my God, you're young, you still got time. Life is, and even if you're starting out at my age, at 42, again, you can do it. You still, I don't care what age you are, you just have to put your mind in and put the work in, but realize you got to put the work in. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's no accident. I know that Hollywood likes to portray things like, if you watch, I don't know, the social media movies or whatever, it makes it look like it was just, this guy's just a genius. And I guarantee that's not the case. I guarantee there's a lot more hard work and things that you don't see that, Hollywood wants to portray. That said, you can do it. You just have to put the work in and know what you're getting into. So my first advice is get into something that you have experience with, and and then you can learn the other things. For example, like I've got a roofing business right now. I didn't really know anything about the marketing, and actually that's the hardest part about the business, but I've been learning along the way over the last 5 years, okay? Failure, success, struggle, but you'll learn. As long as you're willing to adapt, improvise, and overcome, you'll learn, right? But you definitely need to have that base, right? If you have a base set of skills, it's going to be much easier for you to be successful in that business. So, what business are we starting? Braden, you just said you're going to build $1 million a year business. How are you going to do it? Great question. So, along the way, I've been working with Ivan. He's been roofing with us for about, I've known him for like the last 5 years, and he's always told me, he's like, hey man, I've got these, when I was in Ukraine for the last 13 years, I built gates, Ironworks, and I saw some pictures, really, really nice stuff, but it really, let's say 4 or 5 years ago when he showed me that, at first, I'm like, that's great, Ivan. He really wanted to do it here, and I said, man, those are beautiful, but I'm so horse blinders caught up in what I'm doing, I didn't have the time to think about it. Well, let me tell you what happened this spring. I was doing a house in Garden City, Michigan. We were doing the roof. Lady had a wrought iron gate, and she's telling me, she's like, hey, be careful with the gate. I just had this done. I said, yeah, no problem. We'll take care of it. We'll cover it. We'll make sure that it's not going to get scratched. I understand. And I'm walking down the driveway, and she says to me, she goes, yeah, because I just paid $5,000 to have that gate put in. And I'm like, that gate? She goes, yeah. I said, $5,000. She goes, yeah, because the last one I had done was $2,500 and it fell apart. Now, I'm not talking like, it was a good quality gate, okay? Obviously handmade, obviously really, good quality, but that price didn't register, that registered to me at the time, but I'm like, I didn't even think it was worth that, that kind of money, but I understand why she paid it, and it made sense. And I started thinking, well, if that's worth that, the stuff that Ivan builds, the sky's the limit, right? So there's a good business there, and wheels started turning. And that's the thing, is like, you need to put together where your opportunity meets your experience. That's the things that you can use to build a business. And that's exactly what we're going to do. But that's where we're at. We're going to start with this Ironworks business, and we're starting from scratch. So far, it is January 9th, I believe, right? There is an international builder show we've decided we're going to do because we want to try to keep our marketing costs down as low as possible. It's in Florida. We're going to build a bunch of stuff. That's what we're getting ready to set up this garage here today. I'm going to show you exactly what we've done so far. So once you have the business identified, which I have the opportunity identified, right? Ivan makes these wonderful ironworks, and I mean, it's high quality stuff. It's going to go to the high end markets. That's who I'm targeting. So I've identified my demographic. That's another thing you're going to want to do. Niche down. I'm not trying to sell to everybody. That's another mistake a lot of people make. With my roofing business, I'm not for the cheap people, right? I'm also not going to be, I'm not the most expensive guy in the market. I know a lot of companies and people will tell you like that's the thing you want to be, is the most expensive. But in my business, I don't believe in that, because I just don't want to rip people off, right? I provide a fair product at a fair price. We make money, and that's what matters. So with all that said, that's what we're doing with the Ironworks business, and I've niched down the market into a key demographic. We want older homeowners, more mature homeowners, and we want homeowners with good income. I don't really want to spend and waste my time, and no offense to people on the lower, but that's just not, let's be honest here. High quality wrought iron gates and railings and stuff, awnings, are not going to be for the lower end of the market, and you just need to be aware of that. I'm not looking down my nose. Listen, where I came from, like, I get it. Like, we couldn't afford that kind of stuff, so I want to sell to people that can afford it and want it and appreciate it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to build, so far, there's the key demographic. The products are going to be gates for like driveways, gates, man gates to walk through gardens, garden furniture, outdoor furniture, patio furniture, and awnings and stuff. I don't want to get too broad at first. We're going to test and see what works. That's the thing too. I don't know what's going to sell. I know what I think is going to sell, but sometimes you can be surprised. So you want to keep your options open but limited, if that makes sense. What I'm getting at there is, I don't want too broad of an audience, and I don't want too many products, okay? You want to keep things kind of narrowed down into a lane that you can specifically figure out, or the customers are going to tell you what sells, right? So for example, in my roofing business, I've got roofing, siding, windows, insulation. That's it. I don't do anything on the inside. We keep it nice and clean. That way we're good at what we service, and I know the demand in the market. Same thing with this Ironworks business. I'm going to do, we're going to start off with gates, because I know those should sell, right? They're going to be nationwide. We're not just picking, because I think that we do have a higher end market here in Detroit, but it's very narrow, which is good. I do want to niche down, but I do want to sell not just to retail customers. I also want to sell to builders and architects and people that are looking for that high end stuff in the one-off pieces. That's really where I think we're going to make the money. That's really where it's gonna shine, is getting somebody that custom piece they've been looking for that nobody else has, because Ivan has those abilities to manufacture where it's something fantastic, nobody else has it, and we're looking for those clients, and that's going to be a nationwide endeavor. So that's where we're at right now. We've got a name for the company, we've got an idea, and we've got a space, which half of this 2.5 car garage where we're going to start in, because we're keeping our overhead costs again as low as possible. So Look forward to getting this built today. That's where we're starting. And then we're going to go from there, and we're going to see how the market goes, and I'll show you all those steps along the way, what we do, exactly how much everything costs, and where we started. So that's my advice. Pick something you know. I do know enough. I can fabricate dangerously, right? I can build some motorcycles and whatnot. I am nowhere near on that level, but I do understand, at least from the baseline, number one, how gates work, right? I know all the fundamentals of everything. I'm going to leave all the artistry up to Ivan, and then I'm just going to handle the business aspect of things for him, because that was the thing too. So opportunity, again, he's got the manufacturing ability, he's got the art, he knows how to do it. He doesn't have the marketing and the sales capability that I bring to the table. That's what we're gonna work together and find that commonality so we can build this business from scratch. And I'm really excited about it though, because I can see there is a good market for it, and yeah, I'm really excited to show everything along the way. So we're going to show it, every little detail. And win, lose, or draw, you guys are along for the ride with us. So let's see where this path takes us.